A very blissful good morning to everyone present here. My listeners, viewers, my students. Today is a very special day because I am going to start preparing videos of standard 12 and it is literature part. It is the poem A Thing of Beauty. This is a milestone extract of the poem. It's not a poem, but it's an extract of the poem taken from a very long poem, Endymion. Endymion is a kind of long poem which is very famous for its note of optimism. And you will notice the note of optimism here in this poem. Optimism means to see the brighter side of the life. And its opposite is pessimism, to see the darker side of the life. So it's a brighter side of the life. And this extract, A Thing of Beauty, this poem, discusses about an intense desire to seek beauty everywhere. And beauty not in the term of physical sense, in the term of spiritual sense. The beauty which remains always in our heart. We search for it, and when we get it, we feel relaxed, we feel cool, we feel calm and really blessed. But it needs patience, it needs hard work, it needs our dedication, determination, everything. As I told you that this poem, A Thing of Beauty, is an extract from the poem Endymion. Endymion is the name of a young shepherd. The young shepherd and the poet lives on the mountain of Latmus. And in the dream, Endymion feels that he has seen Cynthia, the moon goddess. And then he decides to seek her everywhere, in the forest, down the sea, everywhere he starts searching. So it's a kind of legend, the poem Endymion, very long poem. And this poem, A Thing of Beauty, in class 12, it is an extract taken from the poem Endymion. Now let us discuss about this poem, A Thing of Beauty. A Thing of Beauty means a discussion of a discussion on the nature of the beauty, that how we perceive the beauty in its real sense. And who has composed this melodious poem, this beautiful poem? John Keats. John Keats, who was born in 1795, died in 1821. He lived the life of 25 years and 4 months, this poet. Great romantic poet. Before discussing this poet, I am going to describe a journey from the dark ages, from the dark ages when we had no literature. In the dark ages, then we came towards Renaissance age, the age of William Shakespeare, Elizabethan age, and then Miltonic age of Milton, and then Augustan age, then Romantic age, then Victorian age, then modern age, then postmodern age. So this poet, John Keats, belonged to Romantic age. And other romantic poets who are very famous, P.B. Shelley, then you can find it out other romantic poets, William Wordsworth, H.T. Coleridge, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and he is the poet who lived the life of only 25 years and 4 months. If he had lived the life of 50 years, I promise, I can challenge that the name of William Shakespeare also, that might have been compared to this poet. But unfortunately, he lived the life of only 25 years and 4 months. This is one of my favorite poets, He, due to the criticism of the magazines like Quarterly Review, Edinburgh Review, he could not live his life comfortably. He was criticized, his poetry was criticized a lot. And he had the deadly disease tuberculosis. His mother also died because of the disease tuberculosis. It's a very tragic thing about John Keats. John Keats has composed a lot of odes also. Ode is a kind of poem in which the poet addresses very near and dear to the poet's heart. Ode to Nightingale is also a very famous poem. Ode on a Grecian urn also is a very famous poem where we find a very famous quotation, beauty is truth, truth, beauty, you know on earth and all you need to know. Then in the poem, Ode to Autumn, he talks about 5 senses. Sense to see, visual sense. Sense to listen, auditory sense. Sense to touch, tactile sense. Sense to smell, olfactory sense. And sense to taste, gustatory sense. 5 senses. He is famous for the poet of senses also. He is known as the poet of senses. So he is a milestone poet, a shining poet that no one in the history of English literature, no one in any history of poetry can ignore this great poet, John Keats. Now let's begin the poem. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. A thing of beauty is a joy forever. When you have the glimpse of beauty, a real taste of beauty, then it's a kind of joy forever. Always you are happy. You are always happy. You are always delighted. But it's not an easy task. As I told you, it needs patience, it needs determination, it needs dedication, it needs persistent efforts. Its loveliness increases with the passage of time. Suppose that you have achieved anything very great in your life. So when you think about that achievement, your life becomes more beautiful. In order to gain confidence, you have to remind yourself about that achievement. In the same manner, this beauty, think of beauty, that the beauty always increases with the passage of time. It doesn't decay with the passage of time like physical beauty. It's something very intense, something very deep, this beauty, what John Keats talks about. And it will never pass into nothingness. The young shepherd, Endymion, describes it very well. The poet, through the voice of Endymion, describes it very well that Endymion searches for the beauty, for the moon goddess Cynthia, and his passion for beauty increases always. So this beauty increases with the passage of time, but will keep a bar quiet. Your bar quiet, yes. That it makes your life peaceful, very peaceful, and asleep. And when after searching the beauty, after completion the search of the beauty, when you take rest, when you take a short nap, or when you take a sleep, it will be a complete sleep. You will not have any kind of worry, no tension, no pressure at all. Full-fledged sleep it will be there, full of sweet dreams, and life will be a blissful life. Your dreams will be sweet dreams. It means sweet dreams after hard work, after patience, after dedication, determination. When you have a glimpse of beauty, your life becomes meaningful. Your life becomes eternal. Your life becomes meaningful. Your life becomes limitless. And health also. When you perceive such beauty, your health also becomes prosperous. Your health becomes quite blessed. And quiet breathing, then you are relaxed totally. A sense of satisfaction is there. That's why quiet breathing. You get peace, therefore, on every morrow. When the person thinks about the beauty, when the person dreams about such beauty to get, he is always restless. And every morning are we reading, each and every human being. We are reading a flowery band to bind us. Each and every morning we have a fresh life, and we are we are bound to follow our duties. Where? Towards this world, to this earth. Spite of despondence, sadness is also there. Life is the name of sadness and happiness, both happy moments and sad moments. But you have to forget the sad moments and then you have to move forward in your life. So sad, spite of despondence, the inhuman does. Inhuman, just opposite of human, does. Always there is something defect in your personality. You find that you are not perfect, but you want to be perfect. And when you will be perfect, when you will gain, when you will have the glimpse of such beauty, spite of despondence of the inhuman dearth of noble natures. In this lap of nature, noble nature, where nature is very beautiful, nature is very kind, you find that life is also a kind of a matter of sadness. But you have to surpass that life, and you have to gain the meaning of life that is full of beauty, that is full of happiness. Of the gloomy days, sad days. You have to overcome those days. You have to recover yourself from such days to get a glimpse of beauty, of all the unhealthy and over darkened ways. Unhealthy, which is not favorable for us. We have to forget all those negative thoughts. We have to come out from such thoughts and over darkened ways and many struggleful days that we face. Such days we struggled a lot. We struggle a lot in order to have a very good days in our life. That's why we must forget all the struggle when we want to have a glimpse of beauty, when we want to make our life beautiful. Then made for our searching. Made for our searching, when we search for beauty, we have such days, very bad days, days of struggles. So, and yes, in spite of all, but don't be tired. Don't get tired when you have the bad days in your life. Have the spirit of optimism. Fight hard, and with the faith that one day you will be victorious. And then, in spite of all, some shape of beauty. Then a glimpse of beauty, a ray of beauty comes in your life, moves away the pall. That here, sadness. That cover of sadness, a ray of beauty, a ray of hope comes in your life, and you become peaceful. And you become peaceful. From our dark spirits, bad days. From our bad days, we receive good days. We have the glimpse of good days, and such the sun, the moon, trees old and young. So such the sun and moon, parts of nature, sun and moon, old trees, old and young, part of nature, and sprouting a shady boon. These trees, they provide a shady boon. For whom? For a traveler who searches for the beauty. And what? For simple sheep, for any creature, for a little creature also, they provide comfort. Sun, moon, trees, either old or young, they provide comfort. A traveler who searches for beauty, they are there. Noble natures are there. Here noble natures we have found. Here noble natures. So it is there that to give you comfort. And for simple sheep and such as daffodils. Daffodils. Poem is also there. A daffodil that composed by William Wordsworth. William Wordsworth, you might be knowing, a poet of nature, was born in 1770, died in 1850. Great poet. He lived the life of 80 years. So you can find it out here. With the green world they live in, and the daffodils, and the place where these flowers are found, that place is totally a place of greenery. It's a matter of productive atmosphere. And here they live in and clear rills and water and stream also. That water sources, when you find there the water sources, the water, that pond, any water source, you find yourself relaxed. That for themselves a cooling coverage make. Cooling coverage. That a cooling place for whom? That traveler who walks through the forest from one place to another place under the sun and the moon, Day and night he travels for the glimpse of beauty. Trees, trees he surpasses in the forest, old and young, and then he finds shady boon to take rest himself when he is tired. But he has never given up. Why? Because he has decided that he will have a glimpse of beauty. So he travels a lot. And sun and moon, trees, either old or young, they provide him shelter, they provide him a peaceful atmosphere, and he moves forward in life. Clearers that for themselves a cooling covered place of comfort they all provide. Against the hot season, that traveler struggles a lot. That person who searches for the beauty struggles a lot, moves here and there, and in the hot season also he never stops. He moves here and there. Sometimes he takes rest, but he has not given up. He moves all around. And the mid forest way, and middle of the forest, he is not going to give up. He has taken rest and he gets comfort in such a hot season with the help of shady atmosphere and rich with a sprinkling of fair musk rose. And there when he senses what he senses, sprinkling of fair musk rose, the fragrance of the rose when he gets. Now he thinks that okay, my aim, my ambition is going to be fulfilled. So he is happy to have the fragrance of the rose. As I discussed that Keats is a poet of senses, here also he has described musk rose. Here, sense of smell, olfactory sense he has described blooms. And such too is the grandeur of the blooms. Grandeur of the blooms, that bad days. Bad days also always they provide the path of the track of good days, and in this way we get the good days of our life. When we have bad days, we have not to take rest. We have to take rest, but we have not to take rest too much that we are going to give up. We must not give up. And then we have imagined for the mighty dead. And when we are disappointed, when we are tired a lot, and when we find ourselves that we are tired too much, we can't move, we can't learn anything, we have to go for whom? Our forefathers, that mighty dead forefathers, our ancestors. They can teach us their stories. They can make us stronger to move forward in our life. We have to learn from them how they struggled in their life, and their stories told to us by different people. We have to listen to those stories. We have to stick to those stories. We have to learn a lot from those stories, and we have to stand always. We have to be ready always for fighting our battle more than ever. And all lovely tales that, yes, lovely stories that I told, lovely stories about them that we have heard or read. We have read in our books also about our forefathers, how they struggled and we have heard from many people. So we have to inspire ourselves from our forefathers, from our ancestors, and an endless fountain of immortal brain. And these stories are like an endless, eternal fountain. A kind of relief for us, a kind of satisfaction. It's a kind of water source fountain that it gives a kind of comfort for us of immortal drink. Immortal drink, immortal stories that not going to have an end. Immortal drink, a kind of pleasure we get. For what? Which type of pleasure? Inspiring pleasures. That yes, it gives us a kind of eternal pleasure that never ends. Happiness and pouring into us. And these stories come to us from the humans heavens bring, that come into us from the heavens bring. From the sky they are watching us. They are just noticing us, that how we are struggling in our life, how we are moving towards our life, and how we are not giving up. But one day will come that we will have such beauty in our life that are going to be the beauty is going to be endless. We will not get tired too much. We will not give up. We will be tired, but we will take rest, and then we will move forward. But we will never give up. We are such an optimistic person, as the poem ends with the note of the optimism, and the poem ends with the note of the description of the ancestors, forefathers, how they struggled for such beauty. We will also, that we have to take an oath that we will not get ourselves tired. We will be searching always for a thing of beauty in our life. Now we will talk about literary devices. That Rhyme scheme also we can find it out: forever, never, A, A, and then keep, sleep, BB, first stanza, and breathing, then C. It means A, B, B, C. We find the first that A, B, B, and C. That we can find it out here, that A, B, B, and C here. And here, yeah, and you can find the first stanza, just I am describing. But we talk about literary devices also here, that a thing of beauty is a joy forever, its loveliness increases will, and here that will keep us a bar quiet. Bar quiet, it's metaphor, figure of speech. Metaphor, that it gives us a comfort, a peaceful life for us. And then you can find it here also, that giving a flowering band, here also metaphor, that you can find it also, that it gives a kind of very comfort, a kind of dreamy life to us. And spite of despondence, and here that yes, in human dirt can find it gloomy days, such imagery also, that you can, in human dirt, gloomy days, it's kind of imagery. The poem is very rich in the imagery also here, of noble natures, of all the unhealthy. Here lines that continues with the same word of, so anaphora, here literary anaphora also you can find here also. And here once again we will find here, yes, alliteration also, that many that places I have seen alliteration, figure of speech, away from the pole, yes, spirit, steady boom, and yes, sprouting shady boom, that you can find here. Sprouting shading, that here you find alliteration, figure of speech. Simple sheep, alliteration, figure of speech. Chain of that here, this figure of speech you can find here very clearly. Such figures of speech that have been described. Immortal drink also you can find here. The immortal drink, it's a kind of metaphor. That it has been described very well. So overall, this poem is very rich in the field of literary devices also. And this poet I have just discussed, that this poet John Keats, the milestone poet, you must study about his works also, as I have described. And he has composed other poems also. On first looking into Chapman's Homer, he has composed sonnet also. Sonnet is a 14 lines poem with a fixed rhyme scheme. So he has composed sonnet also. And he has also composed a very long poem, the Eve of Saint Agnes, that you can read, and very long poem Endymion also. So long poems and so much rich life. Only 25 years and 4 months he has lived the life. I am reminded of Toru, the Indian poet, that who lived only the life of 18 years, I think so. So she was very rich in French and English both. So you can go through the Indian poetess Toru Dutt also. And this British poet John Keats, the English poet John Keats, lived only the life of 25 years and 4 months. And he died. He left this world in the just he was in the lap of his great friend and very close friend Joseph Simon, and he died in Italy. He went, and when P.B. Shelley, his friend, wanted to support him, he rejected that support, and he went to Italy, and he lived there, and then for few days, and then he died in Italy in the lap of Joseph Simon, his fast friend. Thank you, everyone. Please go through this poem. Have a nice day. Thank you, everyone.